Hi guys, today we're going to talk about two very powerful, two very famous automation tools that are Make.com and Zapier. We're going to compare the features and the pricing and all of the other details between both of these platforms and then see which one is going to work for your business personally. So by the end of this video, you will be equipped with all the knowledge that you need to start with one of those softwares or maybe both depending on your use case. And in the end, I will also teach you how to build your first a very simple one, but your first automation on Zapier and on Make.com as well. So let's dive deep into both of these automation tools. So let's get into an in-depth comparison, right? So for an overview, both Make.com and Zapier are automation platforms that allow you to connect apps, create workflows, removing the need for manual repetitive tasks. They obviously differ in their ease of use and complexity, but the ultimate purpose is to reduce repetitive tasks and automate those mundane tasks within a business. So Zapier is known for its simplicity, its ease of use. The way that it creates automations is very basic. You have a trigger and then you have an action, and any trigger that causes an action is called a zap in Zapier. In Zapier's language, so let's suppose you had a form that was sent out, and every time that form is filled, a Google Sheet is updated, and every time a Google Sheet is updated, you are able to get a direct automated email that a form has been filled, and these are the details of that form. So this would really help you understand every time the form is being filled. This will help you understand every time a lead is coming in and somebody showed interest. So just for an example of how this might look like, you can build similar things in Make.com, but with much more complexity. You will have much more control over those automations, in a sense that let's suppose Make.com will be able to filter those leads or filter those results that are being shown ultimately inside an email. So you can even build drafts and many other things that you can do. You can create different actions with with the same trigger, basically. So every time a lead comes in, a form is filled, a Google Sheet is updated, and an email is sent out to you. After you receive that email, you can even respond automatically to that lead that we have received your form, and somebody from our support team is going to connect to you. Or you could use the same message that was sent out as the email and send it over to your Slack, so that the rest of your team members also know that a new lead has come in. So those are the sort of complexities and diversifications that Make.com provides and Zapier doesn't. So in a summary, if we're talking about ease of use, Zapier is much more simpler, it's user friendly, and at the end of the day, both of these softwares do not require you to write code. So that's the beauty of these softwares. I mean, anyone without having a technical background can come over to these softwares, learn them, and then be able to build powerful automations through them. So Zapier is simple, user-friendly. Make.com is more visual. It has much more advanced features and is very, very flexible with its automations. The workflow name within Zapier is called Zaps, and within Make.com is called Scenarios. And Zapier is ideal for beginners, while Make.com is for much more advanced users. Although you can start off using Make.com right now, you just need to understand a few things, and you just need to be much more creative when it comes to Make.com, because there's so many things that you can do. You just need to have a creative mind to actually get started, is what I would say. So when we compare the key features, when we talk about Zapier, it's intuitive, it's straightforward, it's easy, it provides you with very basic automations, and you can basically create processes that are set up as, if this happens, then do that. So it's as easy as that. While as in Make.com, you can drag and drop. There's a drag and drop interface that I absolutely love. It's a lot of fun making automations on Make.com. It's basically designed like a flowchart. You can drag and drop options, and you can branch into different loops. You can go to different routes, and you can create multiple actions from a single trigger. When we talk about integrations, Zapier connects with over 6,000 softwares, apps, whatever you want to call it. And Zapier supports virtually every popular app that you can think of, whether it's Google Sheets, Slack, your CRM. You can automate using that particular software into Zapier. While as for Make.com, it supports over 1,000 integrations, which cover most of the things that are being used commonly. But the best part about Make.com is that it allows for API connections. This is really important because this helps you connect to private tools or niche apps, basically. So that is something that is really, really important. As for the pricing models, the free plan in Zapier gives you 100 tasks per month, and you can create single step zaps, which means that one trigger and one action. You cannot go like, okay, this is the trigger. First, I want you to do this, then I want you to do this, then I want you to do this, and this is going to be the end result. No, you can't do that with the free plan. You can do that with the starter plan, with the professional or the advanced plan, depending on how complex your automations begin to be. As for Make.com, you get around 1,000 operations per month. So this gives you much more flexibility. As for creating your first scenario, you are able to create much more complex scenarios. You just have to focus on how many operations are being used. So operations are basically every time an email is retrieved and an email is sent, or let's suppose a Google Sheet data is retrieved and it is formed into an email and then sent out. That would be two operations, one being retrieving the Google Sheet data and the second being sent out as an email. So those are what operations are. The starter plan starts with $30 a month, around $30 a month for Zapier and $9 a month for Make.com. The professional plan goes for $73 for Zapier and $16 for Make.com. These are per month. Usually creators go with this plan for Make.com and the starter plan for Zapier, depending on how complex you want your task to be and how many times those operations or those apps are going to run. So the Zapier free plan has limited options, while Make.com's pricing model is much more affordable and gives you advanced features as well. So as for Zapier, it's for linear workflows, while Make.com is for greater flexibility. We've talked about that before. So now you have a very high level view of what Make.com and Zapier look like against each other. I'm just going to show you how the dashboard might look like. For Make.com, when you log in, it's make.com/en, and for Zapier, it's Zapier.com. So once you log in, this is what you will find on Make.com, and this is the sort of dashboard that you will see. You can create the scenario over here, and you will probably not have to go into details of all of the other things. These are the subscriptions that all of those things we've already talked about. As for Zapier, this is what it would look like. So the Zapier has many more options apart from just the automations, apart from just creating zaps. You can create tables, interfaces, chatbots, canvases, and there's this whole other thing that they recently released called Zapier Central, where you can basically build custom AI agents, so assistants. So these are things that we will talk about later when we're diving into much more detail. As for Zapier, right now we're just having a high level overview of the comparison. So we will talk about these options in a later video. So for that, definitely do not forget to subscribe this channel so that you don't miss out on that. Let's go over and start building our first automation on Make.com and our first automation on Zapier. So this is the dashboard of Make.com. I recently put out a video about creating an auto email responder using Make.com. Definitely do not forget to check that video out. It's a very high ROI automation that you can start using within your business from today. So over here, when we enter this dashboard, we create an account through Google and then we create a scenario. Once we're on this screen, we will have the option of selecting our first module. For our example, we're just going to go with retrieving data from a Google Sheet and sending out an email. So the way that it would work is you have a Google form out via ads or any other channel, any other way, and people are filling in that Google form. Every time that Google form is filled, a new sheet is updated on Google Sheets, and every time a Google Sheet is updated, an email is sent out to the person who basically built that form. So this way, every time you get a new lead, every time you get a new interest, you will be updated with that via email. So this is obviously just a very basic use case, and we are using this just as an example. To start with that, we will click on Google Sheet. So this is our first module. We go and find Google Sheets, and then we scroll down to watch new rows, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to look for new rows being added into a Google Sheet. You will connect your Google account over here, and you will go over here and go into My Drive, and then choose the spreadsheet you want to watch the rows for. I created this spreadsheet just right now as a sample that has the name, email, and the number of whatever prospect is coming in through our form. So we're going to select that. The sheet name is sheet 1. So this is our Google Sheet, and this is the sheet name. We put that into make.com, and then we just go with yes. How many rows with headers? We're just gonna go with this, and 2 for now. We could also go with one. That's not a problem, because we want one Google Sheets data to be retrieved at a time. So let's go with OK, and let's go with all. The next module is going to be, since we want to send out emails through our Gmail account, we will type in Gmail and connect our Gmail account. So our recipient is going to be whoever the person is that has the authority to receive the info regarding the new leads. So I'm going to type in that email. Subject is going to be new form submission, and the content is going to be you have a new form submission, and in that we will have our name, our email, and our number. So basically the data that we have on the sheet, or the data that we're going to collect through our Google form. So I already run this scenario once before making this video, but I'll tell you guys, once you have this ready, you have to run this once. Yeah, so it's important to run this once. Why? Because this will let Google Sheet and Gmail have a quick contact with each other. This way, you will have all of the right. So once I have all of these fields set out, we're going to map the details. For that, you'll have to run this scenario once with demo data, but I'm just going to do it directly here. For name, we're going to have column B over here that has the field name. For email, we're going to map column C, and for number, we're going to map column D. So that is all that we want. So let's fill in some test data just to see if this scenario is running. Right, now that we have our test data, let's run the scenario once. Okay, it shows that the scenario has successfully been run. Let's go into our Gmail and see if we have received the email Just gonna wait for this to load up, and it looks like we do. Alright, I accidentally typed in the wrong email. This was 466. Let's run this again. Okay, right. We need to run this with the same data that we already have. So for that, we will choose where to start, and this is going to be all. Right, okay. Let's try and run this again. There we go. The scenario has run complete, and let's see if we received. We did. This is our new form submission. Tanjiro, email at tanjiro@demonstrators.com. Number is 2933847. Let's see that. 2933847. Right. So our scenario is complete, and this is how you build your first automation. Obviously, this is just an example. There are multiple things that you can do once you get a better idea and once you open up your imagination and start using make.com. So let's dive into Zapier and build our first automation, a very similar one on Zapier as well. Alright, so here we are on Zapier, and let's just, you will have to similarly create an account through Google or through your email, and then you will go to create and create Zaps. So we have Copilot here where you can, just basically explain in detail what your automation, what you want your automation to look like, and it's just going to help you and walk you through the entire process of how to actually build it. But we're just going to build a simple one manually. The trigger is going to be our Google Sheet, just the way that we did for make.com. For that, you will obviously have to connect an account here. It's a very straightforward process. You just connect your Google account. We have Google Sheets here. The trigger event is going to be new or updated spreadsheet row, triggered when a new row is added or modified in a spreadsheet. The configuration is where we choose the spreadsheet. This is the one that we created. And these are just some instructions that Zapier has. The worksheet is going to be sheet 1, and the trigger column is going to be, let's say, it should be name, because that's the first column that we have over here, this one. So once we have this, we can even test this, test if the connection worked properly. So we'll test the trigger and see if it pulls out the right information, which is the one that we added just before. And it did pull out the right information. So this is our trigger. And the action is going to be an email sent to our Gmail account. The app is Gmail. The action event is going to be send email. This is send email. We will connect our Google account, and after that we will configure. The email is going to be to whoever is in charge of receiving new leads. It's just going to be the same email for now. You can choose all of these, but right now I'm just going to go directly to subject. Submission. I'm just going to make this email slightly different so we know this is the one that came from Zapier. Just received a new lead. Congratulations, just for the sake of it. And who isn't happy when receiving the new lead? Should be congratulated. We have the name, we have the email, and we have the number. don't want any of this. To continue, finish the required fields. Okay, which field are we missing? Okay, continue. Okay, one thing that I'm not sure about is how you can map out details from the previous trigger onto the email the way that we mapped it out on make.com, for which we had the name and the name that came on the Google Sheet. Then we had the email and whatever email came on in the Google Sheet through the form. So I'm not really sure about that, to be honest. I will definitely make a more detailed video about how to create automations on Zapier, and that is when I will tell you how to map those details. For now, I'm just going to leave these fields empty just for the sake of an introduction. So why not just change the email so that it doesn't look bad? Go check your... No, let's just be it this way. Okay, so we can add signature, we can add attachments, lots of things. Let's go with continue. And let's skip the test for now and let's just directly see if it's gonna work or not. Let's publish this. Perfect. Now let's try it out. Right, now that we have our Zap running, let's test it out to see if it sends us the email. Let's just type in a new entry. And let's see, let's just refresh this and let's see if we got a new email. I think it's probably because my laptop has started to heat up, so it's running slightly slower than it usually does. I do know that it's working because I just tested it out a minute ago. It's just taking a little longer than usual. So another reason why I prefer make.com over Zapier is that make.com literally visually shows you where your automation, at what stage your automation is, on what module it is right now. So it just gives you a really nice visual feedback, and if anything goes wrong, it just tells you within what module the problem arose, and that really helps you fix those sort of issues and get real-time data on your automation. Yeah, so around 2 to 3 minutes later is when I received the email. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the comparison that we have for make.com and Zapier. I hope you liked the video, and if you have any suggestions for me for future videos that I should make, let me know down in the comments below. And apart from that, if you need the document that I made that has the comparison between both of these softwares, you can just type automation in the comments and I will send it over to you personally. Like, subscribe, share, all of the things that you're supposed to do with the YouTube video, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.